Hi, BookTube. Sorry that was such a long wave, but I feel like I really needed to say hello. So, last week I completely forgot about Friday reads and weekend reads and all that fun crap. And this week I was just fucking off, and I saw on Twitter someone's like, "Oh yeah, Friday reads," da da da, and I'm like, "Oh fuck." Friday snuck up on me again. So, apologies around. Because I know there's like just a bunch of you sitting around looking at your watch going, it's fucking Friday. Where the hell is the Friday Reads from Paperback Junkie? Rest your little heads. I will give that to you right now. So, what I have read since, let me see. Yeah, yeah, okay. So, I am reading, I've been reading and rereading um, some Agatha Christie books because we're going to be doing the Agathon in just a couple weeks here. And probably next week, I'm going to do a video on like recommendations. Um, some people have asked, like, what Agatha Christie stuff do I recommend? So, um, I asked my mom what her favorite Agatha Christie book was, and she said Death on the Nile. This book was really, really good. It had a great mystery. It took almost half the book before someone to get killed, before someone was dead, but the body count started stacking up, and as you would assume from the title, it does take place on the Nile River in a boat, and as you can tell by the hat and the mustache, that this is a Poirot book, and I cannot say his name without sounding like that. It's very annoying, but this was really, really, really good. It kept me guessing the whole time. It was just, I enjoyed it a great deal. Then, I've never really gotten into Miss Marple, and Zoe freaking loves Miss Marple, okay? So I'm trying to be a nice guy and kind of start at the beginning of Miss Marple. And so I picked up The Murder at the Vicarage, and I'm not very far into it. This is a fun cover, though. I'm not very far into it, but I am so bored. I'm just going to come out and say it. It's basically some old lady and Miss Marple bitching about everything. And then bitching about the fact that they're bitching and gossiping about stuff. And it's just some shit better go down pretty soon. I understand the character, you know, and since this was the first book, I'm assuming there needed to be a lot of work put into solidify the characters' characteristics and mannerisms, and but good God, and it might be because I have just I had just finished finally the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes and the final problem. There, okay. The problem with this collection is that the last Well, I don't know about the last three exactly, but look at that cover. That's an awesome cover. But the end of this book is so fucking good. I mean, the final problem is amazing. It's so amazing. That's where we are first introduced to Moriarty and their, if you know anything about Sherlock or anything like that, their confrontation on the Rockenbach Falls. And it's so good. But on top of that, we also have the Greek interpreter, which is the first mention and appearance of Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock's brother. And it is so. Just the way they talk to each other is so bliss. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you're like, oh, this is so good. The rest of the stories were pretty mundane to me. The naval something, I can't remember what it's called. The naval treaty was pretty good. And there were a couple other ones that were okay. But if it weren't for those like two that I mentioned, the Greek interpreter and the final problem, I would have been very unhappy with this book. But oh, so good. Like I seriously kind of wanted to cry, and I know the whole thing, the story and what happens, and so whatever. But that leaves me to be reading The Hounds of the Baskervilles next month, because what I'm going to do in September as well is I'm going to be reading a lot of horror stuff, for the reason that in October I'm sure most people are going to be reading horror, and but there might be some people who want to like know what to read and like really pack it in and pack it up before October even starts. So the majority of September I'm going to be reading horror novels. So that'll be fun. And not that this is a horror novel, but I like to think that it leans more that way than any of his other stuff. So that's pretty fun. Let's see, what else do I have here that I have read? Oh, I am reading More Notes of a Dirty Old Man by Charles Bukowski, which is the uncollected columns that he wrote for Open City. Basically, the stuff that wasn't in Notes of a Dirty Old Man. And I've read a few of them, and so far there's only one that I've read that was like, oh, this should definitely be in a book, you know? But what I would like to do for the rest of this month, or this week at least, is also finish stuff that I have had on my currently reading that I haven't touched in a while. So, The Great Shark Hunt, I would like to finish that. The Ark, I would like to finish this for any of you sci-fi slash detective novel lovers. And I would like to finish Tarzan of the Apes. And finally, the thing I've been putting off finishing, Trouble is My Business. Because after this, everything else is rereads. And I think I've read all these stories at one point or another. Actually, I'm reading Fingerman right now, and I don't think I've read it before. That's not true. Actually, I have read these four stories. So, but I'm not familiar memory-wise with them. So this is going to be like my last first time-ish through a Philip Marlowe story. Unless I get that book that was the sequel to The Big Sleep that was written by the guy that finished Poodle Springs. I can't remember what any of that stuff is. So basically, I just want to finish. I want to have my currently reading completely clear. That also goes for Big Book of Black Mass Stories, which I'm kicking ass through. So, I would like to have that done. But, guess what happened? I'll tell you what happened. I got a lovely little package from a Mr. Steve Donahue. And it had Paperbacks from Hell in it. And this book is so much fun so far. I haven't read that much of it. I'm in the first chapter about, what's it called? I'm sorry. Hail Satan. But, like, these pages are super thick. Everything is, like, really well done. It's just, it makes me want to just, like, go out and get all of these books. And, there's some really great ones in here. Like the Guardian series, I've never heard of. I'm really excited about that. And then I've never read the other. So, and that was one of the 3 books that kind of started the big horror paperback boom. But there's all these just like great. The Satan Sleuth. I'd like to pick those up. Stigma. The Stigma, that looks amazing. There's just so much good stuff in here. And it's like I'm really... Oh, and then there was like a string of like black horror books, like when blaxploitation got big in '71, and like I never talk about this, but like super niche genres of like Grindhouse type flicks I am in love with. So like I have a huge, not huge, but it's a good sized blaxploitation collection. Just a bunch of like Pam Grier stuff and like the women in prison stuff and the Pinky Violence stuff from Japan, like all of those like weird nunsploitation. Like I love all that crap. So the fact that there was like a big group of doing those, like that's amazing. And this book reminds me of another book, and I talked about it with someone. Hang on one second. I'm leaving the frame, people. And that's gonna fall over. Is it gonna stay? Okay. I'm almost there. Okay. It reminds me of this book, which I absolutely love. Portable Grindhouse, The Lost Art of the VHS Box. Look at that. Look at that. What the fuck? Is that guy's head on right? What? So it's this book that, and it opens like a VHS tape. And it has this great introduction. And then just a ton of box art with like little bits about each thing. And this was big for me because I grew up like I was the perfect age when the VHS tape came out and when the rental stores happened and when they died. So this book is just like taking me back to that and giving me what I missed as a child with the same stuff, like all of these book covers and just how lurid and ridiculous they are. And so I tried to get a galley of this, and they wouldn't send it to me. So I'm just thank you, Steve, but that's not all. And you're like, what? And I'm like, there's more. He also sent me Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is going to be so much fun. An entertaining history of British thrillers from Casino Royale to The Eagle Has Landed. What? So this just goes through all of that history, brief as it may seem. And then it has great little biographies on the authors of that era and stuff like that. So this is going to be an amazing, awesome read. I'm really excited about this. So both of these, this one, I don't think this is out yet. I'm not sure if Paperbacks from Hell is out yet. But this doesn't come out until September 19th. So I will definitely let you know how kick-ass this is. So between those two books and everything on my reading list that I need to finish, hopefully I will be done with all of those, because I really have an awesome stack of books to get through for the week following that I'm really looking forward to. But I'm having like OCD complexes of all the books that I haven't finished, so I'm going to try to get on that. So what are you reading this week or weekend? What books have been sitting on your currently reading, like on Goodreads, forever, and you just haven't finished them yet? I want to hear all about this, and we could talk about it in the little thingy down below. So until I make another video, which could be seconds from now or days from now, which I do not know which at this moment, I will see you again later.